Well, let's get to it. This is Darren with Confident Home Solutions, licensed general contractor, builder, remodeler in North Carolina, and we are talking about the fabulous Makita 36V track saw. We bought it with our own money. We've had it for a couple years, and yeah, I'm more impressed with it, and I'm learning more and more its capabilities. Okay, so we're going to go over what changes we made to it, not so much the saw, but what we're using it to help it do its job better. So, first thing I want to bring up is why we didn't go with the Festool, because you've seen a sustainer here. Well, I'll be real simple with you. I don't think the Festool has a saw that matches this saw currently. Sounds like Bosch has an outstanding one. I don't know about DeWalt, even though I love DeWalt. Sounds like their saw is a little bit iffy there. And I hate to say that about DeWalt. So, you know, if you know us, that we're heavily invested in DeWalt, and that pushed us over to this platform because I didn't like the scissor, I should say. No, this is scissor. This, or is this plunge? I digress. I'm getting off. But so that pushed us to the Makita 36V, mainly because the smaller cordless Festool track saw. Different people said that they questioned whether or not it had enough power. That's from a vast array of different people. And the second is I questioned if it had good enough battery performance. We own Festool 18V cordless tools. So now I did run into a rep, and this video is being made in July 2020. I'd say 4 months ago, I ran into a rep in Greensboro, North Carolina, and he assured me that their batteries have came quite a ways. He said even in 2019, if I think I understood him, that they improved the batteries yet again. So, you know, I'm not going to tell you exactly what he told me, but cool guy. And on another note, how I ran into him, I saw his hat and his shirt, and I walked up to him and I says, "How many $1,000s do you have to spend with Festool before you get one of their hats or shirts?" I was just kind of joking, and he's like, "Well, you know," he proceeded to tell me that he in fact works for Festool. He's a rep, and I was like, "Oh, cool." And not that I need a T-shirt or a hat from him, and which he did offer up. I just declined him on that. Collection bag. Another YouTuber that I was following, I think he's all but forgotten about YouTube. He turned me on to this Festool, or not Festool, Mafell dust bag, and it works. Now it does have a little bit too much taper in my opinion, because it doesn't lock in there real secure. I did message him back, and it sounds like his is a little bit more secure than what mine is. Mine occasionally falls out if I knock it, but it works pretty good. It collects most of the dust, you know, especially on outside jobs. This hinge is here, pretty cool. And then, you know, let's say you're using it and you wanted to take this off. You got a cap right there. That's pretty slick. So that's definitely an upgrade. We purchased ours from a tool company, I believe it was called Wolf Tool, out of Chicago, Illinois. And they carry the full line of Mafell tools. Very cool. I got three things that kind of bother me about the tool. Nothing big, but first one is this depth gauge. So one is that it's, what is that? 10, 20, 30. We're here in the States. I mean, even Harbor Freight's giving us fractional stuff now. Yeah, I know a lot of people. Ron Paul says, get used to it. I'm not going to. Even Festool's giving us fractional stuff now. But so that's number one. Number two, this right here is a little finicky to where when you loosen it and you're wanting to just move it a little bit, it'll kind of catch, and next thing you know, you're moving well, considerably more than you want to. All right, 3 would be the rail guide tensioner. You have to remove the battery, and you'll find out why this is maybe a little annoyance for me. and why Makita doesn't care when they realize what I'm doing. But I need to get in and adjust that back rail tensioner right there. And of course, fourth is Makita's box is as bad as it gets. Okay, so you're probably like saying, Darren, it's a box. Well, since we store tools in this and we remodel, you know, and this is our tool, we make our livelihood out of it. The Makita has snaps. And I tell you, in wintertime, good luck keeping a fingernail. And I mean, they'll pry, and it's not that, because we bought multiple ones of them. They came with different tools, and we've swapped all those Makitas out for the Festool. Now, from our understanding, I could be wrong about this, but Makita borrowed their design from Festool. And from what I'm led to believe is the earlier Festools had those latches. They had switched. This is a, I believe this is a design two from Festool when they got rid of from the snaps and went over to the turn knob right there. This is much improved. The drop portion that holds this, I'll show you. This is real deal. We use these tools, so I'm not going to clean it just for this video. This is out of the Makita case. It fits in here perfect. Fits in there perfect. It's as if it was made to go in there. So, biggest thing to improve your Makita saw is to scrap the stock case. Get yourself a Festool case. Now, from what I understand, well, not understand, the fellow at Cling Support took me into the back and showed me that there's three. All right, so from what I understand, okay, so actually Festool has came out with their third rendition of this. They put a ridiculous locking tab on there. You know, it's a plastic, some type of composite box, so how are you going to keep people out of it, the locking portion? It appears as though they've improved the detent a little bit, and there's a couple other styling cues or whatever, but it's essentially the same box as the two. These are a lot better box than the Makita. Alright, so we covered that. Those are pretty much my only dislikes. Now, I will say one thing, don't freak out, I know the batteries are in there, but you know, I only got two hands and I'm not touching the trigger. This doesn't have a riving knife. And having, you know, I would not own a cabinet saw or anything like that that didn't have a riving knife. That's a must-have with that type of saw. With what I do here and with my line of business, we do a lot of plunges in, midway in. I don't know what you do with that riving knife, because I believe that riving knife comes down. Having never operated the Festool, I don't see how you could do a plunge properly into midway into a sheet without that riving knife hitting. And I don't think I've had this bind. Now, we don't cut a lot of 2x material, and that's typically, you know, your plywood's not going to be binding as much unless it's not supported accurately or sufficiently. A lot of people want to know what all tracks will work with this Makita. Well, from my experience, the only experience that I have is the Makita and the Festool tracks. And yes, in fact, they both work. Now, I have had to adjust the rail tensioners here, and I'm thinking the Festool is going to be a little bit bigger. And if I'm not wrong, so here. I gotta take my battery off the back, loosen it a little bit, tighten it. Yeah, we're good to go. All right, so we're looking at the back of the tracks, and this is something else I should bring up. Both of them have these felt backers. The Festool's a little bit more dense. than the, not much, but a little bit more dense than the Makita. And quite a bit narrower. The Makita is quite a bit fatter strip. My opinion, this is gonna have more grip as opposed to this. You're gonna have to clean these quite regularly. It is what it is. A blower works awesome. These edge guards, I'm not sure which one I like better. The Festool has a little bit more of a harder plastic feel to it, and this is more of a harder rubber. My feeling is you might get a little bit better edge out of the Festool as compared to the Makita, but in any regard, this is my opinion, and from our experience, buy a roll, the largest roll that they have when you buy this. You're going to damage this. I damaged mine within the second or third day after using it, mainly due to my inexperience. But things do happen. They get messed up. It's not that big of a deal to replace them. But you know, you can buy the largest roll. You know, this is a 50-some inch. I don't remember exactly what it is, but I would never buy a roll that length. And I can't remember what it is that I buy, if it's a 120-inch roll or whatever, and that way I can layer this thing twice. And this is, I think this one's been redone 4 times. So take it off the razor blade, clean it up with acetone alcohol, whatever, and put a new one on. And this, I believe, is the second one on the 8-footer. So I'm going to attempt to do something here that'd be pretty difficult with a table saw, unless you did it on a sled or some type of jig that allowed you to do a taper cut. It's pretty easy with this though. Right there, you're seeing a taper cut from nothing to about half 5/8 inch. Perfect cut. Another thing that you saw, dust bag worked pretty excellent. Okay, so you know, when I was purchasing this 2700 Festool track here, the guys were like, "You don't need that. These right here, like, they hold them in place." Now, having owned this already for a year and a half, I was like, nah. And I actually was thinking about this more and more. I've had these for about 2.5 years. The saw. So these clamps right here, they work great. You know, if you want to be guaranteed that this thing doesn't move around, you just grab them at both ends, throw those clamps in, bam, it's done. It's not going to move. Yes, if you have to keep your plywood super clean, and the bottom of these, the foam gripper areas have to be very clean for these to not move. And plus, as a remodeler, you know, we're using builder grade plywood, and we can't always be guaranteed. You know, that thing's warped different times, and this is what we're stuck with using. We gotta use the clamps. So, well advised to buy the clamps. You know, that's another question. People were like, "Hey, those things will just stick to the plywood. You know, got vacuum suction down." Nah. They work decent, but either invest in these. I think the Makita probably makes decent ones too. They're about the same price. And then they got the cam over version ones. I have no experience with them. I need to pick a pair up and try them out. Holy smokes! This is just from cutting that treated board there. You saw when that was empty. Holy smokes. Hey, let's run the tracks off the road. Alright. Yeah, that works pretty good. But the taper's off on it a little bit, but I'm willing to put up with it. It goes in there tight. But I will tell you, you can bump it and it will fall out. But to have this occasionally fall off, I'll take it, as opposed to not having any dust collection. And I'm not going to hook a hose up, you know, for something small. So, you know, I don't want to get a comment from you. Hey, this thing doesn't fit 100%. Yeah, it's like 80% there. It goes in there tight. It's a good seal. It's not 100%. So I'd have to say this saw is pretty good the way it's set up. You know, with that dust collection and a couple other things, clamps, and I'm thinking that's it. But you know, this video is more for that person that's looking at purchasing that and is wondering, will in fact it go over on a Festool? Will it go to Makita? Well, I'm showing you, in fact, it will. And what bag will work? These clamps work perfectly between them. It fits inside the Festool case. I know a lot of people aren't going to be switching to Festool case, but if you're, you know, if you make a living with these tools and you want to improve, make it easier and to where it's not ripping your fingernails off, yeah, you'll probably end up switching to this sustainer here too. All right. Well, appreciate it. Hit that notification bell, subscribe, and if you like real world, truthful reviews, and you want to see some work combined in there, occasional tip, come on back.